Poetry is a spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings. It takes its origin from emotions recollected in tranquility. जय हिंद, आप सभी को मेरा नमस्कार. Poetry is a powerful tool for expression, and on my channel I promote public speaking. If you can ever recite a piece of poetry publicly, I am sure you will be a good public speaker in no time. Today, I will share with you all the poems from the book Flamingo of class 12th. In the order, the first poem is My Mother at 66 by Kamla Das. Kamla Das was born in Malabar and is recognized as one of India's foremost poets. Her works are known for their originality, versatility and the indigenous flavor of the soil. When she writes in Malayalam, she writes by the name Madhavi Kutty. She is a very sensitive writer and she captures the complex subtleties of human relationship in a lyrical idiom. And this poem, My Mother at 66, is one such example. First, let me quote few lines, the last stanza of this poem, and then I'll talk about this poem. After airport's security check, standing a few yards away, I looked again at her, wan, pale as a late winter's moon, and felt that familiar ache, my childhood's fear. But all I said was, "See you soon, Amma," and all I did was smile, smile, smile. The poem is very simple. It's about Kamla Das. She has come down to her mother's place and now it is time for her to get back. And her mother also gives her company from their home to Cochin airport. They travel, they move together in a car. So while covering the distance till Cochin airport, the poem is about all the emotions and feelings which Kamla Das has to go through, which she experiences. And she has always nurtured a feeling in her mind of fear of losing her mother. So it's a beautiful poem. Please read it. The second poem in the order is An Elementary School Classroom in a Slum by Stephen Spender. Though this poem is deleted from the syllabus, but I always discuss that if you really want to achieve and succeed in life, try looking beyond the syllabus. Come out of your comfort zone. The poem, as the title suggests, An Elementary School Classroom in a Slum. So it's about a slum school where the slum children come to attend the school. It is about their physical, mental and economical conditions. These children are so poor that even they do not get enough to eat. So education is a means of luxury for them. I would quote a line from this poem. Theirs is the history whose language is the sun. Theirs is the history whose language the sun, means true empowerment and a bright future can come only through education and wisdom, breaking from poverty and darkness. Read it. Please read this poem. The third poem in the order is Keeping Quiet by Pablo Neruda. It is one of the finest poems. The poem talks about the introspection and retrospection and the necessity of mutual understanding among human beings. Look at the world all around us. What is going on? Every country is at war with other country over some issues or others, be it trade, be it border issues, and it is happening only because the people have become very selfish. They have become self-centered. They do not think about others before speaking or performing any action. If we have thought, if we give it a second thought before performing or uttering a word, that what impact it will have on others, I think the world would again become a beautiful place to live in. That is, the poem is about keeping quiet. Let me quote the first stanza of this poem. Now we will count up to 12 and we will all keep still. For once on the face of earth, let's not speak in any language. Let's stop for a moment and not move our arms so much. It would be an exotic moment without rush and without engine. The fourth poem is A Thing of Beauty as a Joy Forever by John Keats, is a world famous masterpiece by John Keats. The poem talks about that everything in the nature, in our surrounding on this planet is beautiful. There is nothing built, available is on this planet without purpose, and from everything we can derive some sorts of inspiration. We can learn a lot of things. We can fill our life with lot of positivity. And the last two lines of this poem speaks the same thing. An endless fountain of immortal drink, an endless fountain of immortal drink pouring onto us from the heaven's brink. The poem says that the beauty of an object is always keeps on increasing. It will never happen that its beauty keeps on diminishing. It's losing its effect and significance and beauty by each passing moment. I would certainly quote the first stanza of this poem. A thing of beauty is a joy forever. Its loveliness increases, it will never pass into nothingness, but will keep above quiet for us, a sleep full of sweet dreams, health and quiet breathing. Therefore, in every morrow we are reading a flowery band to bind us to the earth, spite of despondence, inhuman dearth, novel nature of gloomy ways, of the over-darkened and unhealthy ways. Made for searching, spite of all, some shape of beauty moves away the pall of darkness from our spirit. The fifth poem in the order is Roadside Stand by Robert Frost. This poem talks about the disparity, economic disparity between the rural and urban people. In the poem, what happens? Some rural people, they put out some stall by the side of the highway and they try to sell out some fruits and flowers and vegetables with the hope that those who pass by the highway, they would stop for a moment, they would do some purchase, and these countryside people, those who have put out the stalls, they would earn some money and somehow their life would also get better, but it never happens. Those cars, they never stop there to make a purchase, and even seldom if they stand, they stop just to make a complaint. Just one line from the poem I would certainly quote, it is, the polished car passed with a mind ahead, if ever a moment, then out of sort, for having the landscape marred with artless paints of signs that with and turned wrong and are turned wrong. The last poem is Anne Jennifer's Tiger by Adrienerich. Adrienerich is a feminist, and the poem is about our patriarchal society where the women are suppressed and oppressed, and the poem is about the miserable, pathetic married life which our women experiences, the challenges and the hardships and the restrictions when their partners are not supportive and not caring. And Jennifer is one such example, since in her married life she is not happy, she is over suppressed, tortured, she doesn't have any freedom, she does not enjoy her life because she does not get any support from her partner. That's why she creates an alternative world by the use of thread and needle, and she embroiders a tiger, and she chooses to embody the tiger because this is the life she wants to live, because a tiger is never afraid of anybody. And this freedom, this kind of life, and Jennifer wants to live, which she is unable to live under in her married life. So first stanza I would certainly quote, and Jennifer's tiger prance across the screen, bright topaz of denizens of a green. They do not fear the man beneath the tree, they pace in chivalric, they pace in sleek chivalric certainty. So these 6 poems I have discussed with you. Certainly out of these 6 poems, 4 poems are known to me. I have learnt it, means I can recite it anytime, which I will be doing. I will be discussing each of these poems individually. I would discuss all the poems in detail, going in depth, discussing everything about them. Today it was just a kind of introduction. I have just introduced all the 6 poems from the book Flamingo of class 12th. Please go and try to recite some of the poems. This will certainly give you an edge and you will gain confidence for the public speaking. The other part, the reason behind making this video is also I am doing this for class 12 children who are going to appear for the board exams. And I choose this book because for the last almost for 2 decades this book hasn't been changed, and I know all those who are in the age group of 15 till 40 years, they have at some point of time have read this book. So this book is very popular, very common to everybody, and that's why I have chosen to discuss this book with you. Otherwise I do discussions, I promote public book reading, because when people talk to me that how they would get their communication taking it to the next level, so I find the best way, the idea or the tips I give to them is just reading a book. So read the book and let me know how you have liked it. Jai Hind.